Hello and welcome back to the English broadcast of the LPL here in 2018 summer, and this is our second series coming right out of Shanghai. It's a rare day. Usually we don't get to be here in Shanghai for every single time, but we're coming in for our second match between Vici and Rogue Warriors. Now, FLICKR, I feel like there's a love story that we need to tell, and I feel the best person equipped to tell it is you.
Come, gentle viewer, and let me explain to you one of the greatest stories of LPL history. Now, every great story does have a romance in it, and this starts with Doinby and Swift, back in 2015 QG Reapers. Who are the QG Reapers, may you ask? They are the team that lost to LGD when LGD took first seed and went to Worlds, and then eventually forfeited their way out of it because they refused to play each other.
Yeah.
There was a massive breakup. It was heart-wrenching. They were supposed to be the chosen ones, and now Swift and Doinby's are bitter rivals to the very end, which means that this stop on the Revenge Tour is particularly salty, because not only is it Swift versus Doinby round, who knows at what number we're at this point, but it's also Swift bringing along his new boyfriend, Coco. That's right, Vici Gaming. Coco is now in the mid lane. That's it, that's your story.
Still a better love story than Twilight. Hey, okay, let's actually get on to the matchup. So, these two teams, I mean, you basically look at this and it's like, well, it's Rogue Warriors favored, right? I mean, like, they're just going to smash them 2-0. Why are they not going to smash them 2-0 for us? Or are they just going to do that?
Oh, they're just going to smash them 2-0. Now, here's the thing. The last time that we saw Coco and Swift, they are a very deadly combo. This was the combo that was made Newbie quite a competitive team when Newbie then renamed or had their spot bought out by FPX.
Correct.
Ultimately, though, we haven't seen Coco. We don't really know what he's up to. If you check in on Swift's solo queue, he's definitely been duo queuing with his long-term buddy in Coco there. So the synergy should be there between the two of them, but Coco was never really the make or break to come into a team and completely redefine it. And I feel like the strengths, yes, it's an upgrade in terms of your mid, but the problems of Vici still exist there. You still have a very questionable bot lane, and you have a very questionable top lane, although the top laner has also changed.
It has, but if you also look at Vici in this split, because it's been way less easy Hoon, and it's all been about firing in the mid lane, and then you look at Swift in the jungle, and then it's suddenly, well, it's Swift's team, right? Before it was easy Hoon's team, now it's Swift's team, but even now we're struggling. Like, we're hearing from Vici, and it's just like, our goal is to elevate ourselves from the 14th spot. They're still in 14th. A split on, like, and it's a completely different team with a different style, right? Like, this isn't a team of 1,000 cuts. This is just like, I run at you and then I hope for the best team now, and that's still not working.
I mean, their fundamentals are getting better, and I do think that you are correct when saying that Vici Gaming right now is Swift's team. He really is kind of the make or break in this star player that you're going to be looking there. So for me, it's all about mid jungle. I feel like the meta is really well suited for mid jungle being the big priority and the pivot point. So theoretically, Vici should get a lot better. It's just unfortunate that they're running into Rogue Warriors, one of our top teams, and running into an X and Doinby.
Yeah, it's awkward in many ways coming into this matchup. Though I will say that they do have some times where they just kind of like push beyond it, and it's just like I specifically look to Swift as like the linchpin of the team, because every time he's picked Nidalee this split, he's just won. And regardless of whether that was all about him or not, he keeps winning, and at a certain point you're just like, well, this is a common factor, and he is the common factor. So their ability to take games, but it hasn't really resulted in series wins, which has generally been the problem for them.
I mean, it's about who upgraded. Did Doinby upgrade when he got Flawless, or did Swift upgrade when he got Coco? And one of these teams is sitting in first place in their conference.
So, answer that for yourself, dear viewer.
Unfair to Coco, he hasn't been getting, gotten to play.
That's fair, but we get to see him now, right? And like Fire Rain, I actually think has been making a bit of a name for himself in the mid lane. And when you speak to people, it's like, well, we still last, and he's still probably the wet, but that's still not bad in my opinion. Like when you watch him in terms of mechanics, very, very strong, especially on his specific champion pool. When you look at the Aurelius, for example, or hey, even the Mordekaiser, this guy actually does have the talent in the mid lane, but now we actually get to see what Vici are bringing to the table, maybe swapping up the roster once again.
Yeah, and on the other side, the Rogue Warriors are stock standard, consistent as normal. So swapping up the roster for Vici Gaming, blowing it up, trying to figure out what's going to work for them. I don't think they have any dreams of playoffs at this point, although it's still technically possible.
Yep.
But it would take the miracle runs of miracle runs, whereas Rogue Warriors are looking at momentum. They are full steam ahead, and you already saw how keen Doinby looked. He wants to run right over them.
Oh yeah, he is the keenest of mid laners. Mouse in the top lane, Flawless in the jungle, Doinby in the mid with SMLZ in the bottom lane with his trusty sidekick, Kahlua.
And I see you, angry Reddit thread user here, so apologies. I'm going to try to go for Vici Gaming's top laner's new name.
Yep.
I can't do it. It's Swift, Coco, Snow, and Caveman. We will figure it out. Now, where he did come from is he came from Unlimited Potential over in the LDL, which is our League Development League. They eventually took second behind Tyloo Gaming, and he is a not a star performer. He's more of a tank-oriented player. So quite the opposite from Audi. This is about the Orns, this is about the Shins, the Cho'Gaths, and he excels in team fighting. So already Vici Gaming should start to change up their style about being Wild Wild West Lane Kingdom and trying to grab power picks like Aatrox and look for more of the Orns, the Orianas, and trying to 5v5 their way against Rogue Warriors.
All right, this is my attempt. Yuguan. There you go. That's probably horrible, but I gave it my best shot. And you'll be hearing plenty of times in this game, folks. So write that Reddit thread now. But right behind him is good old Steak. Let's see what he's got cooking today. Actually, like he's been doing this for the last like 3 or 4 sets now, where
It's
he uses
hot.
his. Yeah, it is boiling right now. But I appreciate it. I like it. I mean, Abel's the first one to start it, I believe, because his
Coach Hart was an assist there by using the headset.
Well, Abel did it first, and he changed it, and the Hart came over and did it again for him, and he's like, "Well, I guess this is how I'm staying now." For us, your hair is already like this, so basically this, but for Abel, and now for Steak. But it is boiling in China. It's like 40 degrees right now. It's ridiculous.
You know, this is actually much more comfortable to wear the headset like this, although I feel a bit like a Cyclops. Oh, Pulse, yours is so much better than mine.
Well, I can't really see mine because I can see yours. It's pretty good, huh? Yeah. All right. Without that, we're gonna send it over to the casters, and while we do, we're gonna hear from Swift.
아무래도 아직 새로운 선수도 많고 그냥 서로 안 맞고 이런 게 많고 경험 부족하고 그런 게 다 겹쳐져서 이런 게 나왔다고 생각하는데 뭐 5명 모두에게 문제가 있어서 그런 것 같아요.
You know, it is a little bit more comfortable like this, but Swift there, taking ownership of the problems that Vici are going through. Rusty, you got to try it.
I'm getting flashbacks,
You
dude.
really
The
gotta
last
try it.
time
It's
someone
real good.
wore it like that next to me, it fell down the front of his face, and I couldn't stop laughing on camera.
Look, I've got the capability to adjust and rebound from that. The question is, do Vici have the capability to adjust and rebound? Because you just heard it from Swift. The fault is their own that they have gotten to where they are, currently 1-9 with a single victory to their name, going up against currently the second best team in the league in Rogue Warriors.
Yeah, now I don't think this is the game where Vici bounce back. I think they're looking to fix their fundamentals while still effectively, being the underdogs in this game. I think, but if by some miracle they do find themselves getting victories here, then fantastic. But even then, it's Rogue Warriors. I would expect it to be a map at best. So we're not really looking at Vici as someone coming in potentially able to win this. So you can see it reflected through the match scores right now, 9-2 against 1-9. But you still hope to see growth. And I think that's exactly what Vici have started to move towards. Yuguan in the top lane and Coco coming back to work with Swift.
That's the big hope, because as we said, this is Swift's team right now. It's no longer Easy Hoon. It's no longer death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's all about the jungle. It's all about how the lanes synergize with the jungle. Now, Coco, he didn't have a great time last time he played with Vici alongside Swift, but like we heard on Newbie, these were two that were very well acquainted with each other. The hope now is that they have had time to practice and duo and fix those mistakes coming into this set. Even if it's not going to give them a decisive victory over Rogue Warriors, we're still looking for growth.
Yeah, this isn't Coco's first game with Vici. It's not his first game back in the LPL. He played against OMG with Vici. He went 0-4-2 and did 142 damage per minute, which is usually less than supports do. So he had a very rough game. And he's coming back into this second one. You're hoping to see a lot more improvements, and he was on the Swain, so already an early Swain locked in, most likely for Snow, but proven that it can flex.
We can see where that ends up going, though there is, like you said, that flexibility, but Rogue Warriors, they've already got their eyes on a strong jungle for Flawless. He took the best jungler of week 6 in the LPL, highest KDA, highest skill participation, massive damage per minute.
Yeah, and picking up that Nocturne is a very big deal here, but at the same time, Kindred is available. I like the Nidalee ban here by Rogue Warriors as well, Pulse mentioned on the desk, he was 3-0, 100% win rate on that champion. Jax is his other 100% win rate champion. Very low win rates on the rest, of course, being 1-9, that's expected.
Yes, well, now we get to see the Doinby's Rise locked in for himself, though we have seen it flex to top lane before. Coco gets the chance to pick himself counterpick, and Zoe could be an answer. Galio is something that comes to mind, especially when you've got Swift on the team, but that means you would have to give up your jungle pick for the next phase.
You have to go Kindred now, or it gets banned away in the second ban phase. phase, so you save your potential other laners and you lock in your priority jungler. Now, Swift may not feel too good about it, having to go for an early rotation of his role. It's his team after all, he is the carry, and he is often the one supported through to do most of the carrying work in the early game. But there is no problem with being a Kindred into a Nocturne. It's designed to beat the Nocturne. It was something that started to push the Nocturne pick away in the LPL for about a week.
But we are starting to see some resurgence. Of course, the burst damage that Nocturne can do on a backline is just so strong. But so far, we're not really seeing a lot of squishy targets. Outside of perhaps that Kindred, if Swift ever finds himself without Lamb's Respite, he can be assassinated pretty quickly. Of course, Realm Warp also a very good way to see follow-up on top of that. So already Rogue Warriors with lots of mobility, and we're now looking to see how the rest of the composition shakes out for Rogue Warriors, because already you've got yourself a strong jungle, you've got yourself a strong mid lane, and then you've got to worry about SMLZ and
You
Mouse.
certainly do. Mouse is a pretty big deal when it comes to the Gangplank, otherwise primarily will find himself playing the tanks, and SMLZ, the Lucian's already removed from him, and Lucian and a couple of other AD carries definitely in SMLZ's wheelhouse. He is one of those players that has got himself, say, a Karthus, if he would like. But if it's not a Karthus, it's the Varus, it's the Lucian. He's even got the potential of a Jhin. I say it every time I cast. We haven't seen it yet.
He was also the first player to break out Kai'Sa in the LPL, so still a comfortable fallback for him, as Orianna is going to be banned away. Now, Snow is looking at an 80 carry right now. This is something that I like, because that does put the Swain back onto Coco into that Rise.
How
but
much
that
do you
does
like it?
also mean that Snow has the potential to play a safe lane against SMLZ, who is one of the best 80 carries in the league right now.
It doesn't always win his lane, though. SMLZ is very good at the 3-item mark in team fighting with the rest of his roster. They are so good at empowering him. What Rogue Warriors do as a team is they send everyone down to that lane. That's where usually it is won for the most part. So when you're looking at this, for Rogue Warriors, they've got the Alistar, so really it could be an off champion in that 80 carry position if they would like. But at the same time, 80 carries can still be locked in there to support SMLZ and to get him to that 3-item stage. You mentioned the Kai'Sa Dom. I think that may well be the direction we find ourselves here.
They will need some form of physical damage. So far, it's only the Rise and Mundo.
Sivir. He does have Sivir.
Oh, yeah, that's a strong champion. Also a very strong go button on top of any sort of engage from an Alistar or a Rise. SMLZ, is that the hint of a smile that I see, or just my eyes playing tricks on me? The Sivir is locked in.
Now, not a lot of Sivir players exist in League of Legends right now, but SMLZ has found himself as one of them. The Stormrays are one of the most empowering things at the moment in the current meta to enable different champions to be played. Sivir very good with the spell shield, most importantly, into a lot of hard engage. But above that, having the Stormrays, being able to one-hit people is massive. And if you use your Ricochet on a guaranteed crit, a lot better wave clear.
Oh yeah. So Yuguan, in his first game on the LPL Pro stage, his rookie match, he stands in between the rivalry of Swift and Doinby, gets himself the counter pick of Gangplank into a Mundo after much deliberation. Will he be able to stand the pressure against the second best team in the league right now and the weight of the worst team in the league on his side?
Nothing to lose for Yuguan,
Exactly.
only everything to prove. There might be some stage nerves for him, but by picking the Gangplank, empowering him, surprising that they've gone towards this choice. You know, often someone's first game on stage, they'll pick the comfort choices. And in my brief conversations with Raz yesterday, once we found out these rosters, they said that he plays tanks.
Yes.
So to see him on the Gangplank in that first game is a very big deal here, and we'll have to see how Vici work around that fact. Not a lot of tanks to be seen on that roster anymore. Mostly just the bruisers and the utility of the Kindred to keep them alive.
It's going to take a lot of communication and coordination to play the composition in such a way to disable Rogue Warriors' advances, because I think that's what we're going to see out of Rogue Warriors. They've got a Nocturne, Sivir, Alistar, plus Rise, Mundo. There's one direction that composition goes, and it's not back to base.
No, it definitely isn't. It's forwards at all times.
Yep.
And it's not a Xiaohu Rise. That's the other thing that we have to say here first.
But Doinby's Rise. This is where he got the title, Super Carry
I'm
Doinby.
getting there.
All
I'm
right,
getting there.
all right.
There's two types of Rises on Summoner's Rift. There is a Xiaohu type of Rise, which is the AP Spellbinder smash you in one hit build. And then there is the Doinby Rise, which is a Righteous Glory, sprint at your face and be unstoppable because he's actually a tank Rise build. And Doinby always does the latter and it's always seemed to work for him. Very successful on this champion. In fact, Rise was often banned away from him alongside the Karma and the Lulu when he was playing mid and was the super carry.
That was back in the days of JD Gaming in 2017 when he was with that lineup, but now he finds himself surrounded by other superstars of the LPL. SMLZ, the shoulda woulda coulda of OMG. Flawless, another shoulda woulda coulda. Mouse, the shoulda woulda coulda of EDG. But now it's no longer should have, it's no longer would have. They are doing. They are currently 9-2, and against old rivals. We're not expecting this bulldozer of a team to stop here and stop now.
Definitely not the case. Rogue Warriors, they've got the momentum. Vici the underdogs. Can they even take a map?
We're going to find out, but first, let's hear from the crowd.
I'm calling proximity advantages here for Vici. That was
To the
scarily
microphone.
close to the microphone.
Well, they did still have some volume outside of that, as Rogue Warriors are going to deny Sniffs. Yep, Sniffed Sword.
Oh, right, you wanted to say Swift. Okay. Do they do? They kill the ward? That's actually a fairly big deal. You may see Coco come over and place a ward a little bit closer to the 1 minute 30 seconds mark when the red buff starts to spawn, just as a precautionary measure. Now, as a mid laner, you do not want to waste your ward at level 1 unless the strategy demands it. Because if you do that, with level 2 ganks being so popular currently, you run the risk of being ganked, especially if that ward is visible and seen by your opponents, with everyone usually fan starting. It's entirely possible. So he saves his ward this time around.
Of course, the denial of that vision means that early river control is going to be quite contentious. Of course, Kindred wants to get that mark as soon as she can. The more marks, the better. But not the Mark Z's. He's on the analyst desk in North America.
Yeah, Mark Z is great, okay? The more Mark Z's, the better as well.
Yeah, he's a good bloke. You want Marks and Mark Z's in League of Legends. That never move will actually hit. Snow landing that first hit on the Swain. We did see the Zoe go to Coco in the mid lane, so not returning to the champion that he played previously, but Swift beelining for that mark down in the bottom lane.
He's managed to find himself in the correct place where Vici's vision was at level 1. So they're going to get a secure on the free Scuttle Crab to be seen now. Good flash.
That's Flash Shadow Dash. SMLZ uses his own. That's a late spell shield. The auto attack chase. Snow and Caveman find first blood.
Yeah, spell shield not there in time, presumably on cooldown. They're able to lock him down. Look at the death timers though at this stage in the game. A level 1 Sivir misses maybe a single minion with how quickly they respawn, but still the kill is secured there by Vici. Snow's able to pick that one up as well. Well executed from the 2v2.
Now that does give first blood over to Snow, as we just heard, and should help his lane out quite a bit. Eventually the Sivir will take control of the wave and start dominating that Swain, but it's not going to happen for quite some time, especially now that SMLZ has been slowed down just a bit. Meanwhile, Yuguan is pushing up into Mouse into the top lane. Mouse has been having a spectacular performance with Rogue Warriors, really spiking upwards just before Rift Rivals. He's that kind of player.
I think Yuguan's pretty confident in his first game. Maybe an emotionless player, a good reason to pick him up.
Look at this.
Flawless and Swift maybe about to see each other.
That was a marked Scuttle Crab. I believe that was the respawn.
Yeah, that was actually the back-to-back marks on Scuttles as well. Swift in the right place, just not at the right time. Able to steal that one away flawless. Very well done from the Nocturne in this case. And I don't believe it was a respawn Scuttle. I think it was just the start Scuttle that was never
over.
Yeah, but it was never touched by the Nocturne. He went towards his bottom side, did a full clear, recalled, and then rushed to the Scuttle, probably because the mark showed up.
That is going to give some more time to Flawless on the map, as again, on that Nocturne, you want to get level 6 as quick as you can. He does have the experience advantage over Swift, as he is clearing out just about everything on this side of the map. Nothing is left for him to take, so resigning, he returns back to the fountain to buy that challenging smite and make his way back out. And that does mean that with both junglers off the map, we get a chance to take a look at these lanes. Doinby on that rise, not taking teleport, is taking cleanse, but not activating it to trade with Coco.
No, he wants to hold on to that cleanse. Of course, in most situations where you get slept and the jungler is coming to gank, especially when it's a Kindred and there isn't a second form of crowd control, Cleanse is a very good summoner spell for that. Get out of the trouble bubble and just walk it out, opposed to having to waste your flash. Where Rise, flash is super valuable as an enabling tool at level 6 when your Nocturne specifically hits level 6. Because he comes in, you can flash, you can lock them down. Now, I will say, In contrast to that, Coco has also gone towards a cleanse. So it's going to be very difficult for either of these mid laners as a solo mission to lock down one another.
It's more the denial style out of the two, as Swift will deny some of the vision from Rogue Warriors by clearing out the control ward in Pixel Brush. Now Killua sidesteps the Never Move. Headbutt is ready. He managed to land the Pulverize onto
Well, they're going to
Look
kill
at
here.
the AoE. Spirit's Refuge onto Swift, plus the Ignite. SMLZ, he doesn't have Flash, looking for the Bouncing Blade. That's one, but not enough damage to kill Swift.
Yeah, Flawless not able to get in there in time by any means. He is stuck still walking through the tri-bush at the end of that trade. But Rogue Warriors, in a 2v3, they still come out on top, losing barely any HP whatsoever. Confidence play coming out of them. And again, that's the strength that an Alistar can provide for you in laning phase. And a Sivir with Spell Shield means that it's pretty much impossible to engage on her immediately, especially without summoner spells from both Caveman and Snow.
And not just any Sivir, SMLZ's Sivir, who so far has been pretty on point with those spell shields,
right.
but oh, Mouse. Welcome to the LPL, Yuguan. These are your opponents. Mouse, ooh, misses that briefcase.
Sends off a warning shot to Yuguan on the backside, says don't reach Youngblood. Mouse steps up, makes sure he keeps him honest, and pushes him back and forces
That
that
one
base.
landed. I had to go talking about his spell shield usage, and then he gets caught by the Never Move. I believe it was actually on cooldown. It did just pop up off of the back of that play. So already trying to trade back, but that means that Coco is roaming down bottom. He's got Flash and Cleanse.
Bubble through that wall is very easy to start a Gangplank ult.
Cannon Barrage. It's a cross-map play. Who is the target? SMLZ, that's the spell shield.
got
But
him.
Never Move off the back, stacking the crowd control and getting the kill.
Way too many spells just barreling towards SMLZ's face, and he had to choose, do I survive through the Zoe burst? Obviously, yes, and then he just gets pulled in safely no matter what happens. There's still no flashes. Everyone should be going towards the bottom lane. When you watch Vici play League of Legends, it's aggressive and it's early. Rogue Warriors, they've hit that level 6 mark, and Gangplank has no ultimate.
Yeah, you can already see the communication for the team of Yuguan and the rest of Vici. They know that this is happening, but tragically there's not too much they can do about it, as he did expend his Flash earlier to escape from Mouse. It's a counter roam from Rogue Warriors. Mouse doesn't even get an assist as Rogue Warriors end up on the board.
He'll get himself some big tower damage potentially as well, with no ultimate, no teleport, and no flash for the Gangplank. So in a very good position right now is Mouse, with or without that assist, and there go Rogue Warriors. They find an opportunity, they hit level 6, and they don't even need to expend the Nocturne ultimate. That means they can do it again, and they most likely will as they go towards top again.
And this is where we've seen a little bit of variability in how Rogue Warriors have been playing lately, is that now they can trust in Mouse to take an advantage pretty consistently in the top lane and roam towards that top pot. It's not just focusing down SMLZ as Mouse. He's in between the turrets. And Yuguan, he still has no flash. He's able to get to the turret in time, but he's got the full minion wave right there. Mouse is thinking about it. Flash auto attack. Sorry, that was a headbutt. Mouse says, you've got to call, Yuguan. It's back at the fountain.
He fired the warning shots before when he forced the flash, and now back-to-back times, Vici's top laner has found himself dying. This is very reminiscent of Audi, so it doesn't seem to be a player-specific problem this time around. But in Yuguan's first game in the LPL, he is being picked on by Mouse on this Mundo.
Yeah, not exactly a big confidence boost in your first game. But again, he is on that Gangplank. He's already got Sheen, Corrupting Potion, and that Cull. So as long as he doesn't die anymore, he should eventually be able to scale up into the late game if Vici get the opportunity to survive that long, because already Mouse is starting to get pretty big.
You're not wrong, but you're focusing on the opposite side of the coin here.
Glass half full, Rusty.
Yeah, but like, there is a big Mundo in a glass on the other side, right? 79 CS, which is 20 above his opponent, and the kill. Mundo with a single item is going to be unstoppable already against his opponents. The only people that can deal damage to him once that Sunfire is done is most likely going to be Coco and Snow. And they are not execute-based champions.
That they are not. That is going to make it a lot more difficult. Swift eventually might be able to get some pretty big late game damage on the Kindred, but that's the hypothetical high mark scenario for Kindred that every Kindred, I'm sure, dreams of. But still, it's going to take a lot of time to make that happen.
Bottom
Vici
lane.
looking for it. Killua just starts stacking up that stun. Oh, they're actually stopping for the dragon instead. So they've got complete control over the river, and with Snow and Caveman's push bottom, they think there's a window of opportunity here as Doinby is hanging out on the top side of mid. Now, Flawless will spot this. He's got Paranoia and Flash. He's got vision over the wall, pings towards it, is now ducked out of vision. Swift looking for it, Duskbringer, but Swift gets the smite. Dragon picked up.
unless the #1 of League of Legends as a jungler is always pull the dragon out of the pit. In this case, when the control ward goes down from Flawless, he doesn't see Swift, even though he sees the dragon. That means he can't ult over the wall. As mid laners, here we go.
Where Coco is either the flash snare, that's the cleanse and another flash, but silence. Perfect timing. They decide not to dive further onto Coco.
That's definitely worth it here for Rogue Warriors if they're able to weather the storm of the next coming minute or so. Nocturne not having the ultimate, Swift being able to still get access around the map, and Gangplank having the ult up again. So plays available for Vici.
Yeah, lots of pings down into the bottom lane right now. Killua actually just completed a recall. He's got Mobies. Flawless is going to try to use this window of opportunity with Mundo and Rise push to take down the Rift Herald, but that means SMLZ all on his own uses Thrill of the Hunt to escape.
Spell shield, but chose not to use that one as well. The cautious ultimate being blown early there, and it's understandable. He has to respect them a lot. Now, you could say that Sivir is pretty good into the Swain matchup when you think about the Never move with the spell shoot. Yeah. But at the same time, when you throw a second person into that lane, it becomes very difficult to navigate if that person has crowd controllers.
Oh, no.
No, Vici here on the counter gank. This would be very good, actually, for Vici if they're able to get this done.
They're just trying to break down the turret, and it goes down with no fuss. Battlestar hits Flawless on the front. Spell Shield soaks the second hit. Swift flashes in. Flawless looks for the fear. That's a Stand United flash onto the Realm Warp, but dies as Swift gets the auto attack. Doinby separated from his team. He's got no flash. That's 4 members of Vici, and they turn the gank around, picking up 2 kills.
Yeah, plenty of members around, and the Shen as well with the ultimate. So they're always going to be able to come out on top in that fight. Rogue Warriors expend a lot of resources to go top lane, basically just to look at the turret and assist it in going down. That would have happened anyway. So really, Rogue Warriors didn't necessarily need to be up there. It could just be about accelerating the game state, but Vici, they match it, and they're able to come out on top from that with the kills, though they did lose the turret.
Yes. That is going to put Yiguan in a little bit more scary situation. He's not had a chance to recall, though he has gotten 31 CS since last we've checked onto him. Mouse, you just saw defending the mark on that Grom camp, but here's that play again, and it's just an easy collapse. Flawless tries to make it into the Realm Warp.
Doinby could have ulted a lot earlier here as well to get Flawless to safety, but it seems like they were moderately confident in that they were going to try and be able to walk that one out as mid lane.
Whoa, flash knock up. They've found Coco. Portal jump resets it. He picks up the flash but dies before he can use it. Flawless finds the kill, immediate Rift Herald usage, and even a ward on the side from Doinby as he steals away the Raptor camp. Is Shelly going to charge here?
Certainly will get the charge off for free here. There's no chance of stopping it from the looks of it. Doinby just being nearby. Killua also threatening control wards to not be able to spot where that Alistar is. So it won't be the turret. Vici all arrive at the correct moment, but the charge will always go off there. And that's a result of picking on Coco, the Zoe, who does not have stopwatch anymore, who does not have summoner spells anymore, because they went on her prior. And Rogue Warriors, whilst they may have made a bit of a hiccup on the top side of the map, they are the kind of team to immediately come back in a positive sense straight afterwards.
Yeah, pushing bottom to get some damage onto the tier 1, taking the blue buff on the way, and then rotating back towards that mid lane for more damage onto the mid tier 1 as Coco finally makes his way back in. But still, that push has been stalled out just a little bit.
They're just not the kind of team to dwell on things, Rogue Warriors. That's what I've always appreciated about them. There's always
quick
next steps. Even if they're looking at a grey screen, they're being tacticians. They're thinking about what their next best move will be.
Oh no,
Speaking
Yiguan,
of,
not again. He just got into the LPL, guys. That's a flash, very early. He makes it under the turret. They still look for some dive. That's a cleanse. Mouse, he's so tanky. He's so tanky. Oh, Mundo.
Press F. Pay respect. He's just having a bad day, this Gangplank, man. There's nothing he can do, but he's overextended. So what he can do is not overextend, but from those situations where they find him, he's caught out. Vici, they are trading correctly on the opposite side of the map now. They know that Doinby is not nearby, and he's running cleanse, not teleport.
Yes.
So they're able to capitalize on this opportunity and get a turret. The risk is still there, however, Dom. That Mundo, when he appears in a team fight, who's going to stop him?
Doinby by Realm Warping him away.
Yeah,
perhaps. That could do it. But that's... I don't think Doinby's feeling particularly that charitable against Swift and his new team. As 15 minutes into the game, the Tier 1 finally broken down for Coco. This mid lane suddenly a lot scarier now that Rise has been unlocked. And SMLZ, he's still farming up a Storm in the bottom lane. He's got that Storm Razor for guaranteed crit every few seconds.
Big item spikes actually across the board for the entirety of Rogue Warriors. If you look down every player's list, all that's left is the Archangels to fully stack up. So that'll be a big spike for Domi once he completes that one. But for the most part, they are ready to go. They're online. And they're even hitting level spikes as well. Mouse the first to hit 11. As Mundo, that is the truly online stage in League of Legends. For Flawless, one more level to go.
Yeah,
they're feeling amazing.
What kind of human beings play Mundo just in a normal setting? He's a wacky fella.
You want me to stereotype Mundo players into personality traits, or where are we going?
You tell me, mate. I'm opening up the door and allowing you to walk through. We already talked about this, Rusty.
I played the 5th.
All right, you go on. He's got his Triforce. He's a pirate. That makes sense. Mundo, don't know what's going on there. But I'm sure somebody does, and that's okay. Much like Teemo players are actually just devils. Yuguan playing a pirate, trying to stick true to his personality. Now, perhaps this could be Rogue Warriors targeting Yuguan specifically, because as we heard from you and Raz before this set, he is primarily a tank player. He plays for team fights. He plays Ornn. He plays Cho'Gath.
He could be very out of his comfort zone in a game like this, for certain. Rogue Warriors have started the Ocean Dragon here. They're going to avoid the tops. Oh, hang on.
Oh, Flash Shadow Dash. Flawless goes invisible, but the Realm Warp chase onto Coco. They leave Flawless behind. They don't have any vision for him to reset the fight. Now Rogue Warriors, they're coming out of the brush to chase down this kill, forcing Vici back. Now Stowe's in the front. That's Demonic Ascension. They manage to pick up the Dragon, but Caveman lands a Shadow Dash onto Mouse. Spirit's Refuge stalls out. Swift kiting it around the side, but Doinby in front, hit by a Paddle Star. He's able to get his shield in time and resets. Meanwhile, Yuguan in the back, Flawless set to finish it off, but there's the perfect timing. Lands respite on top of a 3-man knockup. The bounce goes across, and Vici are absolutely pulverized by Rogue Warriors. Ace by Rogue Warriors.
And a clean ace at that. 5-for-0 trade after Flawless was left on his lonesome as well. They get everything, including the Dragon after that fight. Rogue Warriors and team fighting is absolutely an iconic duo. Turrets to follow immediately after, with minion waves already set up in advance. They are looking clean, even though there are some inconsistencies in Rogue Warriors, but you'd have it no other way.
Of course. Who loves the perfect team? The answer is a lot of people. But who loves an inconsistent but good team? Also, a lot of people.
I think they are perfect in their imperfections. You have to embrace those facts, as they are very good at team fighting. SMLZ is a very, he's a very quiet player, doesn't communicate a lot, but the team is so aligned to what he is thinking that perhaps they've just become a hive mind as a 5-man unit. Now, Mouse pops his ultimate. No one's going to kill Mouse. Kalua's also got the ultimate there as well. The Unbreakable will keep him alive, so nothing's going to stop the front line of Rogue Warriors from just being tanks constantly. And they sit there, they persevere, they wait for the stopwatches to go down, they wait for Snow to finish his ultimate as well, no longer tanky, and then they continue to wait for a Kindred ultimate to go down.
So patient.
And would you believe it, Kalua and Mouse are still sitting there with more health than their opponents, absolutely smacking them.
Also, it has to be said, Doinby did not use his flash in that fight. There was a moment where, as Rise, he was 1v1ing Swift, which was perfect poetry, but then Coco stepped up and he said, all right, you bring your butt, I'll just wait for mine. Flawless finished off the kill on the far side. Killua landed the 3-man knockup, and then he was able to clean up the fight, knowing he could trust in his teammates to finish that off for him. That just speaks a little bit more to the rivalry of these two.
I've always thought the best players in the world are the ones that don't use their flash until the perfect moment. And being able to win a team fight like that as Rise, and he was constantly hitting targets.
Yeah.
To not use your flash is very impressive coming out of it.
And that's where we saw a little bit of that positioning from Snow as well. Able to get good damage, but not enough, because again, a lot of that sustained damage is coming out of the Kindred and that Swain. And if he's busy in Demonic Ascension in the Dragon Pit, then he's not exactly getting it onto 4 or 5 people for the big Demon Flare burst. As Mouse is, he's already doing Mundo things, as you predicted.
He certainly is. That red buff, oh, hang on.
Oh yeah,
Caveman.
they're actually chasing this down, and Caveman, like you said, very far forward. That's the paranoia as Flawless finishes it off. He's got his Guardian Angel as well, so he's happy to dive if he's able to get something off of it, but not finding anything just yet. Death's Hand still very good at clearing out those minion waves, so the siege is broken.
They're even using the red buff now, Rogue Warriors. They are looking for every avenue, every opportunity to try and make Vici come towards them. It's 19 minutes, 20 seconds in the game, so there's not even a look in at the Baron available, but they make their opponents come to them at red buff. Vici seemed all too happy to oblige. Has a great spell shield.
Yeah, he takes the Visions of Empire, takes the mounting dread from Kindred, but then still sees the Sleepy Trouble Bubble from over the wall and soaks it with the spell shield. Such presence of mind. Ah, poetry in motion.
Big brain player. Galaxy Brain SMLZ.
Galaxy Brain. Universe Brain. That's why he has no mental capacity for speaking. He's so busy knowing what else is going on around him. Still trying to step up to this minion wave, though, as Mouse from behind is going to try and separate Vici Gaming. But it's triangle vision between top and mid for Rogue Warriors without a Baron buff, because Baron has only just spawned.
Yeah.
And now it's set to break down a turret. Cleanse is ready, but even the Visions of Empire isn't going to be enough as he's got enough CC to break out of it.
He's able to get out of that one before the maximum duration of the sleep as well. So a bit of extra damage proccing onto him, I believe. Woke him up, so he's able to dodge the Visions of Empire, had phase rush on himself as well. End of the day here, Rogue Warriors, you mentioned where they're pushing. They haven't set up bottom yet. So I don't think it'll be a Baron power play happening in the next couple of minutes by any means. This is just pressuring Vici, confining them within a set area that they control, and then moving beyond that point, getting item spikes, and then going for the Baron. So you'll see Mundo go towards the bot side now with the teleport up. Now they start to recall, get item spikes. Now they start to pressure the Baron.
Oh, that feels bad for Caveman. As Killua will complete his recall and make his way back to base. Like you said, item completions. He's finished his Eye of the Mountain on that Mount Targon for more wards. SMLZ, he's still got that Storm Razors. Let's see what he'll be able to finish with this, as he's already got a Zeal, and that was a large fight that they won earlier, plus the Tier 2 Siege.
Usually Rapid Fire Cannon is the choice. He's not going to go towards that one just yet. Prioritizes
QSS.
Yeah, prioritizes the QSS. And when you've seen all the crowd control that has just been barreling towards him, I do not blame him whatsoever. And really, Rogue Warriors are far enough ahead that they've got the damage. You actually take a second, you look at the gold, and then you realize, pretty big. It's really accelerated faster than anyone would have expected.
9,000 gold. A lot of that is going to be in the top lane, but if you look at the jungle, it's also a 50 CS lead there. It's a 60 CS lead for Doinby. In the bottom lane, it's another 40 CS lead. Vici, they're trying to set up a Fnatic rush around the Baron, but Rogue Warriors, whoa, never mind. Doinby is winning the one who's being caught out of this. That's the Lamb's Respite. He's doing tons of damage. He flashes away. Coco looking for the chase, flashes up with the spell shield, but eats a rune prison. He goes down, but that's Killua joining in. That's the rest of Rogue Warriors having Doinby's back as Mouse manages to get a kill onto Yuguan in the bottom lane under his inhibitor. Snow flashes over the wall, activating the Demon Flare, but Mouse, he's already killed one. Nothing's going to stop him from killing another, even if that other is a turret.
He's found the turret. Mundo's just going to push that one down. Flawless and SMLZ are going to be able to come in. They'll take the base. This happens from Doinby being caught, but he does so much damage and lives for so long that all of the reinforcements are able to arrive very easily. Mouse doesn't use his teleport, so they're able to just reset, go again, and probably do it with a bigger gold lead, as they've even threatened the mid lane and broken the inhibitor.
And this is Mouse killing Yuguan.
Oh, no.
He just walks under the turret, 2 levels ahead, checking auto attacks.
I don't want to commentate this. Just that's
Oh, again the flash headbutt. Mouse, man. 5-0-3. This is what I was talking about. Mouse has been stepping up in huge ways for Rogue Warriors. This is not the Mouse that we saw on EDG in 2017. This is something different, and it makes Rogue Warriors a, what is that, a quadra threat? A penta threat, if you include Killua?
Speaking of threats, they're looking towards him again.
Again, Yuguan. 0-6.
Someone think of the children.
You could even hear the crowd behind that one. Even they didn't want to see that.
Every time it's just an ooh.
Oh, and the chase. Over the wall, but he's feared. Doinby's on the far side and gifted the kill. Even Flawless knows how personal this is, as Swift has got to adjust himself in his seat. Hex Flash over the wall. SMLZ with Thrill of the Hunt forces Coco and Caveman back, but Vici, they are just hemorrhaging kills across the map.
The ants go marching one by one. Unfortunately, not even 2 by 2 in this case. They are just dying on their lonesome. Rogue Warrior is able to pick them off and lock them down. With a Nocturne, with a Rise, the composition's entirely capable of doing that. And now with 2 members who have died, recently respawned is Yuguan, but 5 seconds on the jungler. They are able to go over to the Baron buff, and they should be able to just lock that one down at no cost.
Now there's a blue trinket behind the Baron that spots this out, but Vici looking completely passive after that. Sees the Baron get taken and has to sit back in their base and defend. As Rogue Warriors, like you said, they take the Baron, 24.5 minutes in, they're going to start working on the base of Vici to end this game.
And you know what is scary, Dom? You mentioned it before, Mouse having a better split currently, but think about the champions that Mouse can play, and that he's added Gangplank to the repertoire, definitely capable. Originally, Mouse was able to play the carries in the top lane. He was a Fizz player. When you put that into perspective of having Doinby on the same team as him, Doinby just recently got MVP playing Poppy mid into Aurelia.
The top laner in the mid lane, and the top laner in the top lane.
Who can play carry champions is the point that we're making.
Takeaway.
The takeaway from all of this is what I'm trying to say, Dom, is that they have got so many threats even through drafting.
Yeah.
You can't play assassins into Rogue Warriors because they'll play tanks in the mid lane, and then Mouse can play a carry. And if that's successful for them, that's a known strategy and a recipe that works for them, well, how do you actually beat Rogue Warriors through the draft?
I mean, Yugwan and Swift are going to try to kill Mouse here. Even getting the Stand United in, Coco is on the way.
It's
That's
gonna
going to
take
be 4 members.
Might
Even
take
the Visions
5.
of Empire. Yugwan has to be saved, and Mouse is still standing on top of this, looking for the kill. Chucks the briefcase.
He's
Kappa,
still
the Shadow
alive,
Dash. He's still
dude.
going. He's killed Swift. Mouse is
Run
unstoppable.
away.
Yugwan's on the backside, and Mouse is turning
got
on the
two.
Caveman. A double kill, but Doinby steals away the third. Meanwhile, Rogue Warriors are busy ending the game by diving onto Snow. They kill him under the Nexus turrets itself, and Yugwan, the sole survivor. Look at Caveman. Head in his hands. He knows what's up.
They have just been completely smacked by Rogue Warriors. Mouse cannot be stopped.
Look at the grin on Mouse's face. That is a happy smile. That's a happy man. That's the kind of guy that plays Mundo. I asked the question. I got the answer. Rogue Warriors take game 1 over Vici.
That was an absolute titan in the top lane as well, though. Not just a Mundo. That was a fed Mundo. That was a Mundo that got an early lead onto a Gangplank, and Yogwan in his first game of the LPL has just been made the fool by the top laner of Rogue Warriors with a lot of support from the rest of the team.
Yes. And Rogue Warriors demonstrating that teamwork that we expect from our Rift Rivals representatives, that we're able to set up RNG to close out the tournament and make China the greatest region in the world as a result of that win. Show that they've still got that teamwork. They've still got that momentum, that emotional flair, that emotional style. But it's encouraging to see that emotion come out of multiple players, not just Doinby, but also out of Mouse in the top
I
lane.
think a wise man once said you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. That was Gandhi, I believe. But Yogwan did none of those things.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, definitely. It was Abraham Lincoln, my bad.
Yeah.
But Yogwan wasn't sure how to do any of that. And of course, Rogue Warriors, they capitalized on him time and time again. And he was constantly out of position, without the turret, doesn't matter. The rest of Vici, not there to assist him at all because they're a bottom-focused team. So I'm pretty surprised that he was on the Gangplank at all.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed to have been a confidence play from Vici. They said they've been working on their teamwork. It is currently Swift's team, so perhaps he was making the call. We've got the Kindred. We've got ourselves the Gangplank. And then we're also going to play the Zoe Swain for late game team fights. I mean, the recipe was there, but they just got absolutely chopped up in the kitchen before they could brew whatever it was they were trying to cook.
Yeah, not really a chance at all for them to execute on a composition.
Yeah.
They were just beaten to the punch by Rogue Warriors.
Absolutely. And with that Rogue Warriors win, they're going to set themselves up 1-0. Now it's time for our analysts to break down that game.
Whoa. Cheers, gentlemen. You know, it just feels like Swift just brought a friend along just to witness him meeting his ex again, and it was just a disaster. That was a terrible situation all around for us.
Yeah, and I do want to start this one on the draft phase because I do have a couple of bones to pick. This is a counter Zoe composition coming out of Rogue Warriors. You have Mundo, Nocturne, who has a spell shield.
Yep.
You have Ryze, you have Sivir, who has a spell shield, and you have Alistar. What is the game plan for Vici Gaming if they actually fall behind in this composition? Now, the nice thing about Zoe is even if she doesn't have kill threat, which she does a lot of damage, she still creates a lot of opportunity with her ability to play around choke points and to make picks. But still, it was time and time again that these team fights would happen, that Zoe would try to find someone or that Vici would try to assassinate one of Rogue Warriors members, and they were just too tanky, it took too long, and then Rogue Warriors were able to collapse on all the chaos using the added mobility of things like the Sivir ultimate, like the Ryze ultimate, and really rip everyone apart, on top of the fact that Mundo got ridiculously fed. So Rogue Warriors, this is actually a gimmick that they're running a lot, where they play kind of these invulnerability, invincible team comps, where it's not a standard like meat grinder comp, but they make sure that they have all of these defenses.
Kind of like an attrition comp.
Exactly. And SMLZ, he's the only guy who's playing Sivir right now, and you can see why she fits into this style of play.
And it's like you watch it and you expect it to be slow, but then you get into team fights. Like I know the last replay we're going to show is just like everyone wants to see that one again. But if we take a look at the actual team fights themselves, and we take a look at this first replay, like Rogue Warriors are just playing as well, and it's also off the back of them just being ahead as a team early in the game as well.
But also, here's the question: why the hell are Vici fighting this? Again, they think that they can make a pick. They go forward. They aren't able to get it on flawless. Doinby expertly uses the Rise ultimate to reposition him and SMLZ outside of the Gangplank ult, so they don't eat any damage, and then they just run along the side. And Vici, at this point, they could have disengaged so long ago. Their Gangplank is so far behind. Mundo is massive. Why are you fighting? What is the decision making here? Like, this is fundamentally flawed for your composition, because your only power points are things like your Shen, like your Zoe, so you must make the picks, and if you don't execute on the pick, get the hell out of there.
I mean, this is such a long fight as well. It's just the fact that they just don't take any damage. Like, everyone's a Mundo at the end of the day. Like, you get a big Swain popping, like, great, and then Zoe lands a full combo on SMLC, still doesn't die, and that's like, it goes from bad to worse from that point onwards, but it's how the early game went. I like what Vici were trying to do in the early game. At least they were getting some picks. They were actually making stuff happen in side lanes, but they weren't really following up on it. It's just like they kind of had step 1.5, but nothing else.
And that's the thing. They needed to continue to play around the side lane. Now, it was really hard because Mundo was so massive. He was getting on those solo kills. I'm not saying that it would have been easy, but you still have things like the Zoe and like the Shen that just Vici could not have funneled into a 5-man. They were never going to win. They're never going to win in the 4-man. So either you need to go back, look at your jungle, see what's happening with your defensive vision, clear all of it out, and then just start setting vision traps. Hopefully someone walks into you like Doinby did, but you also have to kind of roll the dice. Like, if it's a target like a Rise who has a Zanya's, is this the one that we try to pop? No, then disengage from it. But it's this individual decision-making error that is costing Vici again and again and again and again and again.
And it's with new faces as well, right? It's just like you can take the players out of Vici, but you can't take the Vici out of Vici, and that's like the issue at the end of the day. Coco didn't have a good time in the game, mainly from the draft. And then you look at top lane, what an absolute disaster. I'm not saying it was all Yugon's fault, but my God, I mean, that was like, that is not what you want to see out of a first performance out of anyone in the LPL.
Frankly, it was his fault. He makes the decision to go back to that tower, so you can maybe say it's cross or miscommunication cross map, like. But there wasn't junglers. Those were solo kills. Mouse zoned him off of the tower. And yeah, he did get some gank attention, but ultimately you need to be keeping track of that. You need to understand when you are under kill threat and to either dodge the skill shots or not approach the tower. If you feel like you've completely sacked a lane like that, what you need to do is break lane phase and actually just trade sides of the map. So send your top laner somewhere else.
But usually that matchup doesn't go that badly. Like, it's very rare you see the Mundo get like the Mundo dream, you know? Like, sometimes you see the Darius dream where he gets 5 stacks and starts dunking people. You see that every other game, but like the Mundo dream is literally where you run into 4 people and you just don't die, and we saw that this game. Our MVP of this game, in fact, is Mouse on that Mundo. I mean, he got ridiculously fed. He found solo kills underneath the tower. The flash auto attack that he got from Masochism, absolutely crispy in the top lane. Loved what I saw out from Mouse, and Mouse, you know, he gets the short end of the stick a lot of the time. Like, they put him on a tank in the top lane, and it's just like, alright, Mouse, you do your thing. We'll see you in team fights. Goodbye. And then you see him gone for like 17 minutes, and he turns up, and it's like, alright, we can team fight now. But this time, he was the star of the show.
Yeah, and he absolutely flexed. And Gangplank was kind of a key part of the composition that Vici wanted to put together, because it was all about the bottom lane. You know, they had the Shin Swain, they had the kill pressure there, they killed SMLZ early on. So you have the GP, so you can ult into the bottom lane. But when you fall this far behind, where you have to send 4 people to deal with Mundo, which of course this is late into the game, but this started relatively early, then suddenly your draft starts to fall apart in terms of your win condition, in terms of your game plan. When did we ever see Vici actually get down there and really execute or follow up on the damage that they had caused to SMLZ, having those 2 early deaths in the 2v2?
And this is the macro for us talking, but the micro pulse is saying he was 1v4'd and killed all of them by himself. If that guy didn't run away, he was dead too. Everyone should have scattered.
Abandoned ship!
When they saw him start to like regenerate health while they were hitting him, all 4 people at the same time after blowing the cooldowns, they didn't think, maybe we shouldn't continue committing on this play because Mundo's going to be full health and kill us all. Because that's what exactly happened. His buddy came along. He didn't need that. He just got it for the kill gold. He didn't need to do anything.
Yeah, he had about 3 items. 4 if you count the fact that his ultimate was giving him so much health back. So it was bad news bears.
It was like a really slow, like a Lowy play in top lane, but it's just like slowly grinding them down. It's amazing. I want to see more of that. For now though, we're going to take a short break. When we get back, we'll be coming in for game number 2.
登峰造极，方可声名远扬。侠盗勇士自在威震四方。